Hello everyone, welcome to today's practice. Today I really wanted to share a practice that has really helped me not only in these kind of last couple of weeks, but it's also just one that I come back to in times of sort of uncertainty or worriedness, or when I just kind of need a little bit of support. So I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, let's begin. We can come to find a comfortable seat first of all. So just finding any seat that feels comfortable to you. If you have anything that you can sit up on, like a pillow or a block or anything that can just help lengthen through the spine, that can be really helpful. You can either come to sit cross-legged or have the legs extended out long, or if it feels more comfortable, you can come to sit on the knees, even sit on a chair if that feels more appropriate. But just no rush to get there, but beginning to bring yourself to a comfortable seat where you can begin to relax through the lower body. Find a sense of lightness and lift through the upper body, the spine. You might close the eyes or soften your gaze, or rest your gaze on something just in front of you. And then just see, before we even come to begin our practice or begin our breathing, our physical practice, we can just check in with the body for a moment. Just check that you feel comfortable. See if you want to make any adjustments to your position. And maybe just also notice if you can feel any particular sensation or area of your body that is calling your attention. And then seeing if we can begin to just notice the contact of the body on the ground, the contact of the hands on the body, or wherever they're resting, wherever they feel comfortable. And can we maybe begin to relax into these areas a little bit more, open up to just this feeling of groundedness, of support. And bringing awareness to the shoulders for a moment, and just seeing how your body feels here. If it feels nice, you might take a breath in and just draw the shoulders up towards the ears. And then as you breathe out, relax the shoulders down. Just allowing, inviting a sense of space, of ease. And then bringing awareness into your face for a moment, and again, just noticing if there is any holding, any expression that might be resting on the face that you didn't even know was there. And then from this awareness, can we begin to relax through the face, through the forehead, the temples, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw. And from this softness and awareness of the face and the shoulders, I invite you to just come to rest your awareness, to come down towards the middle of the body, towards the chest and the belly. And just see if we can begin to relax through these areas as well. Allow the ribs to relax, the sternum, the chest, the belly. And then as we begin to relax through these areas of the body, can we begin to just notice our breath? Begin to notice maybe the way that the breath is really gently moving the body. And if you find it helpful, you can bring one hand to the chest and one hand to the belly. And without changing the way that we're breathing in any way at all, just simply see if you can notice any movement under the hands. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, do you feel more movement in the chest area, in the belly? And also noticing the differences that as we breathe in, can we feel more of a sense of rising expansion as air comes into the body, into the lungs. And as we breathe out, a gentle relaxing back, settling back, releasing. And then keeping this awareness on the breath, I invite you to just start to lengthen the way that you're breathing, but still keeping everything feeling really comfortable, really kind of smooth. So next time that you breathe in, inviting the breath to come down towards the belly, feel a little bit more of an expansion here. And as you breathe out, beginning to release through the breath, either releasing through the nose or the mouth. Breath slowly leaves the body. And just taking a few cycles of breath in this way. So that kind invitation to draw the breath down towards the belly, feeling that expansion. And as you breathe out, a gentle release of the breath. And then next time that you breathe out, I invite you to bring both of the hands so they come over our heart space, kind of in the middle of the chest. And see that we bring, or when we bring the hands into this kind of shape, that we can stay relaxed through the shoulders. Keep that sense of lightness through the upper body, through the spine. That real sense of groundedness, of support through the lower body. And then as we sit here today, I invite you to take a moment of reflection and just think of one emotion or one kind of thing that could really support you at the moment, that you could really cultivate and invite in. It could be anything from a feeling of peacefulness, a feeling of calm, of support, anything at all. And then once you've kind of thought of what that might be, I invite you to think of one thing, one emotion, one quality that you would like to let go of, that you would like to release, both in this practice and in the wider context of your day or your week. And that might be something like releasing the feeling of worry or fear or uncertainty, anything at all that comes to your heart and mind. And then when we're ready, we're going to start to move and bring in some movement with the breath, but also bring some of that emotional aspect of our practice in as well. Firstly, as we take a breath in, I just simply invite you to open the arms out, feel a sense of expanding out, and then as we breathe out, we can bring the hands back to chest. If it feels nice, you might bring the chin in towards the chest as well. And then taking a breath in your own time, opening out, and then breathing out, bringing the hands back towards our heart space. And then this time when we breathe in, I invite you to welcome in that quality, breathe in that quality that you'd like to cultivate. And as you breathe out, releasing that other quality that you would like to let go of. And just taking a few more rounds like this in your own time, with your own breath. Opening up to whatever can support you at this moment, and breathing out and letting go of anything that just really doesn't. And coming through this one last time with the breath. And then when you next bring the hands back into heart center, the chin in towards the chest, we can then just release the arms for a moment, bring the head back up, maybe have a little bit of a shake or rotate through the wrists, through the shoulders. If the legs are crossed or in whatever position really, it might feel nice to just shake the legs out a little bit. Maybe point and flex the feet. And then from here we're going to move on to, I'm going to come into a child's pose actually, and start to build a little bit of a sequence from our child's pose. If it does not feel comfortable to kind of be on the knees in this shape, then you can always stay in a seated position and kind of just explore the arm movement. So it'll make a little bit more sense when we begin. But if it does feel comfortable, just coming onto the knees, and you can either bring the knees a little bit wider or together. And then we're actually going to come down, so I'm going to bring the forehead to the ground. If it feels more comfortable, you can find a bit of a pillow or a block or something to rest the head on as well. So as with all of our practices, just kind of take time to set yourself up. And then when we come down to relax the head down onto the ground, I invite you to bring the hands so they come towards or to rest on the lower back, the palms facing up. And then taking a breath in, we're going to start to sweep the arms out to the side, lead with the chest, and start to rise up onto the knees. So we're kind of coming up tall, growing up tall. And then as we breathe out, folding at the hips, leading with the chest, bringing the arms back to where we began. And then we're just going to move in and out in this way. In breath, we rise up tall. Out breath, rotating back through the arms, through the shoulders, allowing the head to come back down to the ground. Moving in this way. Maybe just noticing how it feels in the shoulders as we move the arms in this way. Taking that nice breath in to support us to grow up tall, and as we breathe out, gently hugging into the belly to support as we fold down. And then this time when we come up onto the knees, we're going to pause here for a moment. I'm going to pivot to face you. And just see that we can relax through the shoulders a bit. So make sure that no tension is creeping in. And then taking a breath here. And as we breathe out, we're going to start to open towards the right side. Open into a nice twist. In-breath brings us back towards the center, and as we breathe out, opening out towards the other side. In-breath brings us all the way back. Then as we breathe out, beginning to fold back down. Then moving through this again, seeing if we can bring that emotional quality, breathing in whatever supports us at the moment. Breathing out and letting go of anything that doesn't at all. A nourishing breath in brings us back to center, and as we breathe out, we open and let go. Coming all the way back through center and allowing your out breath to settle and relax you back down. And let's just move one more time, truly just moving with your own breath, your own rhythm. Seeing if the breath can support your every movement and just allow you to kind of follow your own rhythm. And then this time when we come back down towards our child's pose, we can bring the hands out in front and come into a bit more of an extended child's pose, maybe bringing the knees a bit wider if that feels comfortable. Just taking a moment of pause, of rest here. And then taking a breath in, coming up towards all fours, and we're going to bring the hands so they come under the shoulders, the knees, under the hips. Then we're going to start to walk the hands over towards the right side, so keeping the lower body where it is, beginning to really kind of open through the side of the body. And then coming to a place of sort of natural resistance, and can either stay here if it feels nice, you have the option to sink the hips back down to just find a little bit more opening, but just see what feels good for your body. And wherever you end up, seeing if we can breathe into the side body, taking just a couple of smooth breaths here. And the next time you breathe in, beginning to start to walk the hands back, make that little journey. Maybe notice how the floor or the carpet or whatever you're practicing on feels under the palms of the hands. And then coming to that place on the other side of the body where you're just starting to feel a bit of a stretch, a bit of an opening through the side body. Option to stay here or to sink back down and come into a bit more of a side sort of child's pose shape. Noticing how it feels on this side of the body and seeing if you can just invite the breath or breathe into the side body. Just finding that, enjoying that sense of finding space in the body. And then as we next breathe in, or when you feel ready, we can start to walk the hands back, make that journey back. And then we're going to come back to coming onto all fours. And then as we're here, just going to take a little bit of moment with cat-cow. So we can take a breath in and begin to open through the chest. Lift through the tailbone and just allow the belly to drop. And then as we breathe out, drawing the belly in, allowing the shoulders to come up towards the ears, the head to release and relax. And just moving or making the movements as big or small as feels good for your body. A really lovely way to just wake up through the spine. And then next time that you breathe out, instead of simply rounding through the spine, I invite you to sink the hips back, to relax and release back to our child's pose. And then as you breathe in, leading with the chest, coming through all fours. And then this time we're going to tuck the toes under and start to bring the hips back and up into our downward facing dog. We're going to have nice bent knees. And then taking a breath in, slowly lowering down, untucking the toes. Breathing out, relaxing back into our child's pose. Just exploring this a couple of times, letting your in-breath bring you up, and as you breathe out, hips start to come back and up into our downward dog. Breathing in that feeling or lightness of nourishment, and breathing out just that sense of letting go. And then this time or next time that you find yourself in downward facing dog, taking an opportunity to pause here to really draw the weight back towards the legs, towards the back of the body. You can bend the knees as much as you need to just allow that sense of length through the spine. Releasing the shoulders from the ears and pressing evenly through the hands. Releasing the head and the neck. Knowing that if you need to take a break or come into all fours, that this is your practice, doing what feels good for you. And it can be quite nice to sort of pad out through the legs a little bit. Release through the back of the legs. And taking one more breath in here, seeing if we can breathe down towards the belly, breathe in a sense of nourishment, of ease. And breathing out a sense of letting go, of releasing. And then from here, either walking the hands towards the feet or the feet towards the hands, whatever feels sort of natural to you. Just coming to a dangling position, allowing the head and neck to release, the shoulders, bending the knees as much as feels good. Might even come into a little bit of a sway here and just let the weight of the body just gently fold and release over the lower body. It's also quite a nice place just to have a bit of a sigh or release the breath a little. And then when you feel ready, seeing if we can press evenly through the feet and just start to lead with the chest, bring the arms out to the side. We're going to start to rise ourselves up, coming up to a standing position, and when we arrive here, just taking a nice full body stretch, really making yourself feel as long and taking up as much space as you possibly can. And then relax. Relax the body. If it feels nice to have a bit of a shake or rotate through the body, have a bit of a dance, this is a good time. Have a sigh, and then whenever you feel ready and kind of released of any of that ness, then we can come to stand in our mountain pose. And for this posture, just really finding somewhere that you feel stable. So it might be the feet a bit wider, it might be a bit closer together. And you can either close the eyes or find somewhere to focus your gaze on. But I invite your awareness to come into the feeling of the body. So kind of letting go of what you think it looks like or how you think you should stand from a visual perspective, and just seeing if we can feel into a way to support our bodies in this moment. And to do this, we can begin at our foundations, at the roots of this posture and all of our standing postures really. So bringing awareness to the very soles of the feet, and even before we make any changes or or kind of effort, I invite you to notice where your weight is leaning. And once you've noticed where your weight is leaning, I invite you to actually exaggerate that a bit more. So if you feel like you're leaning forward, then come to lean forward a little bit more. If you feel like you're leaning back, come to lean back. Or maybe it's over to the right side or the left side. And then see if you can start to bring your weight to the opposite side. So you might be in this moment moving forward and back slightly, or moving side to side. And just see that as we do this practice, if you can notice the weight as it distributes from one foot to the other foot or from front to back. And then making these movements a little bit smaller, can we come back to a place of evenness, of kind of in the middle of those two movements. And as we come back towards a place of evenness, I invite you to ground down through the heel of the foot, evenly ground down through the ball of the foot, and also find an anchoring through the sides of the feet as well. Lifting up the toes if that feels good, just to exaggerate this really steady connection. And relaxing the toes down and just seeing if we can bring awareness to the center of the foot now, around where your arches are. And just inviting a sense of lift, of drawing up nourishment energy. And as we stay rooted through the feet, we can draw this sense of energy up through the legs. Checking in with the knees, and if you feel like the knees are locked or feel kind of too tense or anything like that, just having a little bit of a bend here. Drawing awareness up towards the pelvis and bringing one hand towards the lower belly and one hand towards the lower back. And just starting to tip the pelvis one way and the other way. And a bit like we did with the feet, seeing if you can find a middle place between those extremes of movement, between tipping forward and tipping back. Keeping here that sense of stability, of stableness, groundedness. Relaxing the hands when you feel ready and just drawing awareness up through the middle body. And checking that we're not tensing or holding too much tension in the belly or the chest, allowing those areas to have a sense of ease, relaxedness. And drawing awareness to the shoulders, and as we did when, I'm trying to remember if we did it now, but if not, we're just going to take a breath in and draw the shoulders up towards the ears. And then breathing out, releasing the shoulders down. I do remember we did it now. And then we just do that one more time, just with your own breath. Just reintroducing that sense of space. And then as the shoulders are relaxed down, we invite a really nice, open and confident sense through the front of the body, through the chest, through the collarbones. Arms and hands can feel at ease and relaxed. And just finding a place to balance the head, so we're not drawing the head forward or back, but it's really easily balanced over the body. Relaxing through the features of the face and just seeing if we can come into this sense of standing here, but really being in our bodies, feeling into our bodies. And then as we feel into our bodies, I invite your awareness to come into your breath and just starting to find either a smooth breath or maybe that slightly longer way of breathing where we take a breath in down towards the belly and breathing out through the nose or the mouth, just smoothly and slowly. And then next time you breathe in, I invite you to float the arms up just to where they come to. They might come out in front, they might come all the way up. Then as we breathe out, releasing the arms to come back down by the side of the body. Exploring this a few times with your breath, just seeing if you lengthen the breath, maybe that allows a little bit of a larger movement. And then as you breathe out, relaxing the arms down. As you breathe in, can we welcome and find or cultivate that quality that really supports us at the moment, and as we breathe out and lower the arms, that sense of letting go of whatever really doesn't. Now an option to either stay with the arm movements, or we can bring in a little bit of balance to this practice. So as we lift the arms up, we just begin to lift one foot off the ground, and lowering that foot down, allowing the arms to come down. And then as we breathe in, we can lift the opposite leg up. Relaxing the legs down, the arms down. You might just come onto the toe if that feels more appropriate, or you might just stay with the arm movements. Or it might feel nice to just enjoy a little bit of a challenge, a bit of a kind of play with some balance. But still seeing if we can invite that quality in, keeping it about the breath, inviting in as we breathe in and letting go as we breathe out. Can we coordinate this sense of body and breath and emotion and just find a sense of integration? And then just coming one more time on whatever side of the body makes it even for you. And whenever you've come back to your mountain pose, you can have a little bit of a move, a bit of a shake, enjoy the feet being nicely sort of grounded or back on the ground. And then we're going to bring the hands back towards our heart center, towards our heart space. You can either bring the hands to rest at the chest here, or they can come into more of a prayer position, whatever feels good to you. And just taking a moment to ground through the feet, to relax through the body. And then when we feel ready, taking a breath in, opening the arms out, really expanding, finding space. And as we breathe out, bringing the hands back towards our heart. Taking a breath in, we're going to bring the arms all the way up overhead. Then as we breathe out, we're going to start to fold forward. We can fold at the hips, allow the chest to come down, and then allowing the body to round. Taking a breath in, arms can come out to the side for support, leading with the chest. Arms come all the way up. I'm going to open out into a twist towards the right side. Taking a lovely nourishing breath in, and then coming to open out towards the opposite side. Inhale brings us back, and as we breathe out, lowering the hands back down towards our heart, towards our prayer position, whatever feels good. Taking a pause, a moment of simply stopping here. And then as you breathe in, opening up, inviting in whatever really supports you at the moment. Breathing out, bringing the hands back towards the heart and letting go, releasing what really doesn't. Taking a breath in, bringing the arms up, just finding that openness, that space. And as we breathe out, opening out into a twist. Drawing or bringing the arms back together. Then opening out to a twist towards the other side. In-breath brings us all the way back to center, and this time we're going to fold down as we breathe out, gently folding the body, allowing the spine to release. breathing into our heart space, to our chest, down towards the belly, and beginning to rise back up. And then relaxing the hands back towards the heart. Taking a pause, maybe checking in with how you feel in the body, in the breath, in emotion, energy. And then when you feel ready, taking that nourishing breath in, seeing if you can invite in whatever quality will support you right now, and as you breathe out, bring the hands towards the heart, letting go of what really doesn't. Breathing in, bring the arms up, feeling a beautiful length through the body. Breathing out, opening up into our twist, finding that space. Moving in your own time as you come through center and as you eventually come to open out on the other side. Coming all the way back through, and when we arrive back in center, drawing the belly in as we begin to fold forward. Taking a breath in, leading with the chest, coming all the way back up, arms overhead. Then as we breathe out, returning or releasing back towards our heart space. Taking a moment here of quiet, of pause. And then relaxing the arms, relaxing through the legs, having a little move or whatever feels good. And then we're going to come towards the back of the mat and just see if we can bring our feet about hips distance apart, or just in a way that feels really nice and kind of stable for you, so a bit wider than normal. And then we're going to turn the left foot out and take a step forward with the right foot. And first of all, just check in that you feel comfortable here, so you might want to turn this foot out a little bit more, or in a little bit more, checking that you feel comfortable in the knee and the hip. And then just bending through this front knee, seeing if you want to bring that leg a little bit further away or a little bit nearer. And then just allowing that front leg to straighten, seeing if we can ground evenly through both of the feet. We're going to bring our awareness back to this place of our heart space, our heart center, and just come to rest the hands over that area. And then as we take a breath in, beginning to bend through that front leg and open the arms out. And as you breathe out, bringing the hands back, tucking the chin in towards the chest. Just explore moving in this way. Seeing if we can find a nourishing breath in. And that sense of a releasing, letting go as we breathe out. And if you find the practice useful, as you breathe in, we can invite that sense or that emotion, that quality that can really support you right now. And as we breathe out, let go of that emotion or quality that we can really let go of. If it feels nice, as you breathe in, you might bring the gaze forward, and as you breathe out, tuck the chin in. And then next time that we come forward with the arms out in front, I invite you to bring the arms up overhead and just take a moment here, relaxing through the shoulders, gaze is ahead. Take a breath in here, and as you breathe out, we're going to turn the palms to face the ceiling and just lower the arms down. And as we breathe in, drawing the elbows back, palms still facing up towards the sky. And as we breathe out, we're going to sort of guide or push forward, bring the arms forward, chin comes into chest. Taking a breath in, drawing the arms back. And breathing out, guiding away. And if it feels more comfortable to sort of move the leg with this practice, you can kind of come in and out. Or if it feels available to stay, then just keeping that front leg nicely rooted. And just seeing if we can stay with that quality of breathing out, letting go, breathing in, welcoming in whatever nourishes us. This can be a nice one to kind of breathe out through the mouth as well, and just really exaggerate that letting go. Just coming one more time, keeping really nicely rooted in the lower body, and then next time the arms are out in front, we can take a breath in, bring them back to our classic warrior one, and then as we breathe out, relax the leg down, relax the arms down, take a step or a couple of steps to come to our mountain pose. Just check in with how you feel when you come here, and any little movements. It might be nice to rotate through the ankles a little bit, or maybe just stand there and notice feeling a bit uneven, a little bit odd. And then we can come to the back of the mat and just start to explore on the other side. So coming to bring your feet a little bit wider than you normally would, turning your foot out and taking a step forward with the opposite leg. And just like with the first side, just seeing if it feels more comfortable to turn that foot out a little bit more or in. Maybe bring your legs a bit wider or a bit narrower, a bit further in front or behind. Just really a bit like our mountain pose, setting up our foundations, our roots from which we can move. And then just explore or practice bending into that front leg and just seeing if that feels comfortable. If it feels too much pressure for the knee, you can maybe give yourself a bit more space, or if you just prefer, you don't have to bend as much. So just seeing what feels good there. And then when you come to set yourself up, sometimes it can take quite a lot of kind of focus or concentration. So just relaxing the breath, maybe having a bit of a sigh. And then bringing the hands back towards our heart center, towards our heart space. Taking a breath in when we feel ready, and just opening the body out. Then as we breathe out, releasing the leg back, bringing the hands back, and just move in this way. As we bring a lovely nourishing breath in, can we invite an emotion or quality that can really support us? And as we breathe out, can we let go of one that we could really do without? Option to draw the chin towards the chest as you breathe out as well. Just finding a way to find a smooth breath, a smooth way to support your movement. Welcoming in and nourishing and releasing and letting go. And then next time that the arms are out towards the side, and then you next breathe in, bringing the arms all the way up to our classic warrior one shape, relaxing through the shoulders, grounding evenly through the feet, keeping that nice sense of lift through the body. And breathing in here, and as you breathe out, turning the palms to face up towards the ceiling, the arms facing up, and then as you breathe in, drawing the elbows back, opening through the chest. And as you breathe out, guiding the arms forward, chin comes into chest. Breathing in, opening, welcoming, nourishing. Breathing out, drawing away anything that doesn't help us at the moment. Moving in this way with your own breath, with your own intention, your own support. Invitation to sound the breath on the exhale if that feels nice. And the next time that you breathe out and the hands and the arms are out in front, waiting for your next inhale to bring us back, arms overhead, gaze ahead. And then we can relax the arms down, relax the leg down, and take a step forward or a couple of steps forward. Come back to have both feet together, maybe again having any little move, any little kind of shake, or see what feels good. Again, it might feel nice to rotate through the joints, through the ankles, shake through the feet. And then we're going to have a little bit of fun with some balance, and then we'll come down towards the ground. So if it feels good, you can come up to kind of have a wall or a chair or something like that. And I'll give a couple of options. So we're going to explore coming into our tree pose. And to begin with, we can all come into our mountain pose and just take a moment here. Just first of all, relax the breath, maybe having a sigh. And then just seeing that we can ground through the feet, find that sense of connecting through both of the feet. Finding a place where you can rest your gaze ahead, so it can be a little bit more challenging to have the eyes closed when we're balancing. So finding something to focus on that is not me, because I definitely will be moving and wobbling. So something really nice and still that you can focus on. And then I'll try and guide you as much as I can with my voice, and just bringing first of all awareness into both of the feet, both of the legs. Then starting to draw a little bit more weight into the right foot, and just starting to peel off the toes of the left foot. And then as we come here, we can either rotate that hip out, so we come to have the toes on the floor, so we come into a bit more of a rooted tree. Or if it feels available, you might bring the foot up towards the shin, or even a bit higher if that feels good for you, but kind of not coming to the knee, so coming either at below or above that area. And then let's just start with the hands on the hips. So whether you're in a kind of rooted tree or the other variation, just bring the hands to the hips, seeing if we can draw into the midline, find that support, and just notice the weight as it comes through that standing leg. Knowing that you can come in and out as much or as little as feels good. And then taking a breath in, drawing the hands towards our heart center, towards our prayer. Taking a breath in here. Smiling and laughing as you wobble, or maybe you're not. And then taking a breath in, bringing the arms up, growing your branches out. Extending the arms up and just taking up space, opening up to the sunlight, to whatever you would like to open up to today. Explore how it feels in the body to be here, to balance here. And then as you breathe out, beginning to bring the hands back down towards the heart space. Bringing the hands back down towards the hips, and then when you feel ready, releasing that leg down. Definitely shaking out the feet, having a bit of a move or whatever feels good. Enjoying both feet kind of being firmly on the ground, and getting ready to explore what side is your wobbly side. I'm hoping that side was my wobbly side, because it was pretty wobbly. So just kind of seeing how that, coming into it with a little bit of fun, of playfulness. And then we can come in the same way, so just notice your feet on the ground, that feeling of real sense of rootedness. Then starting to bring the opposite foot now. Turning that leg, so you either come into a rooted tree, turning the hip out, or maybe coming up a little bit higher if that feels appropriate. And then bringing the hands on the hips for support and just keeping breathing, keeping a sort of smooth breath. See how it feels to be here. Does it help to hug in through the midline, to ground down through that standing leg? And bringing the hands towards prayer at heart center if that feels good. Keeping a relaxedness in the shoulders, in the arms. And taking a breath in, growing up your branches, taking up space. Opening up to whatever supports you in this moment. And just enjoying having a little bit of a smile, a bit of a wobble, or whatever is going on in your balance practice. Breathing here. Smooth breath. Notice how you feel. And then as you next breathe out, bringing the hands back towards our heart. And bringing the hands back towards the hips, unraveling that leg. Coming back towards our mountain pose, or our feet being nicely on the ground. And just having a little bit of a shake it out for a moment. Sigh it out, shake it out. All of that. And then we're going to come back towards the back of the mat. I'm going to bring both of the feet back to our mountain pose, back to our real sense of stability, somewhere that we can come to whatever we're doing in our day, whenever we're standing, we can just come back to this feeling of groundedness, of connectedness. Noticing the weight through the feet, finding a nice balanced position for the whole of the rest of the body and just relaxing into it. And then from here, we're going to bring the hands back towards our heart center. Taking a breath in, extending the arms up overhead. And then as we breathe out, beginning to fold at the hips, releasing down into our forward fold. And then we're going to bring the hands out in front, so we can either come to a downward facing dog for a moment. We might come straight to all fours. And then whenever you're ready, we can come to meet in all fours and then just relaxing back into our child's pose. Whatever variation feels good to you, you might make a little sort of pillow for the head or bring the legs a bit wider. Wherever you arrive, just allowing the body to relax, the shoulders, the hips to soften. And then when you next breathe in, coming up onto all fours, and then we're going to transition, we're going to come onto the front of the body. So I'm going to try and navigate this with my microphone. So I will try and explain it kind of well. So we're going to come onto the front of the body. And first of all, we're just going to bring the head. So the head can either come down towards the mat, or if it feels more comfortable, you can come to lie on one ear. And I'm going to bring the arms so they come into a bit of a diamond shape. So we're giving ourselves loads of space with the shoulders and the arms. And then when we come down to that position, just see if we can activate through the legs. So feel really sort of charged through the legs, grounding down through the pelvis, through the hips, and forehead coming down towards the mat. And then as we breathe in, we're just going to start to open through the chest, through the collarbones, not lifting really high or anything like that, but just broadening up. And as we breathe out, hugging the belly in, beginning to release the upper body down. And just moving in this way. Finding a sense of gently opening up and gently releasing back down. And then we can either stay with the arms here, or if it feels available, we can start to bring the hands so they come a little bit closer towards the shoulders. And then we can either bring them sort of close to the body. If it feels nicer, you can bring them out a little bit wider. And this is just going to allow for a little bit more sense of opening of space. So again, we can either begin with the forehead on the ground or the ear on the mat. Taking a breath in, opening through the front of the chest, broadening through the collarbones and just feeling that lift. And then as we release down, gently releasing. Exploring this, seeing if we can lift with the chest rather than the head or the neck. So we're really kind of breathing into the chest, down towards the belly. Just exploring this sense, keeping nice and active through the legs, keeping that sense of connection down through the front of the hips. And then coming one more time through this variation. And the next time that you bring the forehead down, we can either keep the hands here or draw them back a little bit further, more towards the rib cage if that feels available. Again, you can either stay at stage 2 or stage 1 or whatever feels good to you. And we're bringing that same principle of we're not trying to lift up really high, we're just trying to open through the front of the body and strengthen through the lower back. So when you feel ready, beginning to open up as you breathe in and release back down as you breathe out. Broadening, opening, lifting, and then releasing. Just enjoying that sense of space, of opening through our heart space, through this area of the body. And let's just come through that one more time. And the next time that the forehead is back down towards the mat, we can make a bit of a pillow with the hands for the head and just bend at the legs. If it feels nice, you might gently swish from side to side and just release through the lower back, through the area of the body. And then from here, just allowing the legs or the lower legs to relax down, bringing the hands to kind of to that second position, so around the area of the shoulders. Pressing evenly through the hands, we're going to start to peel up. We can either come down into our child's pose, or we can come straight to coming onto the back of the body, so making that nice mindful transition, coming onto the back of the body and just beginning to hug the knees in. So both of those positions are kind of very similar for the body. So we're just lengthening out through the back of the body. And then if you are still in your child's pose, I invite you to also come onto the back of the body. Hugging the knees in. If it feels nice, you might gently rock from one side to the other side. Might make little circles with the knees. And then coming back
back towards center and placing one hand lightly on top of each knee. And we're just going to take a breath in, and keeping the hands on the knees, we're just going to draw the knees away. So it's quite a small movement. And then as we breathe out, we can draw the knees in towards the chest, bending at the arms. And just exploring this a couple of times with the breath. So as we breathe in, we find that space through the body, allow the belly to rise, and as we breathe out, we draw the knees in. And then allowing the knees to come back and the hands to stay on top of the knees, we're then going to begin to take a breath in and just bring the arms overhead and the feet up towards the ceiling. And then as we breathe out, the hands can float back and release back down towards the knees. The lower legs can lower down as well. And just exploring this a couple of times, breathing in, sort of opening up to space, and breathing out, releasing back. The legs don't need to straighten, just finding that kind of intention or direction of the feet moving up towards the sky, towards the ceiling. Seeing if you can feel or hear or notice your breath as you continue to move. And coming one more time with this movement, and then next time that the hands come back onto the knees and the lower legs are back into the body, just taking a little pause here. And then from here we're going to roll onto the left side of the body, so coming to kind of lie on the side. You might want to shuffle yourself so you're nicely on somewhere comfortable. You might even want a little bit of a pillow under the head if that feels nice. And then we're going to keep the legs bent, and we're going to bring both of the arms out in front. And first of all, just checking that your arms are a similar length. If one feels really long, just plugging that shoulder back. Just setting yourself up. And then from here we can take a breath in and just begin to open out that top arm. So we're just beginning to find a little bit of a spinal twist, only bringing that arm to where feels comfortable. And then as we breathe out, slowly releasing it back. Moving like this a couple of times. If it feels nice, to allow the head and the neck to follow that movement as well, just finding a gentle, mindful way to do this. Allowing your in-breath to really support as you open that top arm out, and your out-breath to just bring you back home. And the next time that you come into this shape, into this twist, an opportunity to pause here. If it feels too much for that top shoulder, you might bring the hand so it comes to rest on the hip or on the body somewhere. And then you can either bring the gaze to come towards your knees or up towards the ceiling or towards that back hand, whatever feels comfortable. And just taking a couple of breaths here, seeing if we can relax a little through the body, or relax a lot through the body. Opening up to a little bit of softness, a little bit of space, but also just a sense of being held or supported by the ground. Noticing your breath and how it feels in the body. Also how your body feels on the ground. And then taking a more of a conscious breath in, and as you breathe out, beginning to bring the hands to come all the way back to bring us to lying on the side of the body. And then from here we can start to transition back onto the back of the body. It might feel nice to have a nice full body stretch or something before the other side, or maybe just hugging the knees in, whatever feels good to you. And then we can come to lie on the other side of the body, so coming to lie on the side with the knees on the floor, bringing both of the arms out in front. Seeing what it feels nice to rest the head on, whether it just feels good to be on the floor or with the support. And then when you feel ready, beginning to take a breath in and open that arm up. As you breathe out, beginning to allow the arm to release back, to relax back. As you move in this way, does it feel nice to keep the head where it is, or allow the head and the neck to also be part of this movement? And just seeing if we can find a really kind of soft way to move, a really fluid and gentle way to open through the shoulders, through our chest, through our heart space. Just led and navigated by our breath, by our smooth breath. And coming one more time, and when it feels good, just allowing the arm to either rest behind or rest on the hip, or wherever it feels good for the shoulder. Feel free to make any adjustments. You can bring the knees in maybe a little bit more or out. Find where it feels nice to rest the head and the neck. And just see if we can gently trust into this shape a little bit more, relax into this shape, into our bodies. Taking a couple more breaths here, and maybe just noticing the feeling of the breath, the sound of the breath. Letting it help keep you present and anchored in this practice. And then taking a breath in here, and as you breathe out, beginning to float the arm back over, to coming to lying on the side of the body. Then when you feel ready, making that transition, coming back to the back of the body. Again, if it feels nice to have a nice stretch, or maybe hug the knees in, or find any little rotations for the body. And then from here we can start to make our way towards our shavasana, or our kind of moment of rest, of absorbing the practice. So just setting yourselves up in the nicest, most comfortable way kind of possible. Can either be on the back of the body, on the side, on the front, with the legs bent or the legs out long. Shuffling and just finding where feels good to rest. Maybe just seeing that whatever position that you come into, that we make sure that the neck feels comfortable, that the shoulders are relaxed. The hips can release and allow the legs to roll in or out, however they naturally want to be. Resting the hands wherever it feels nice to also, whether that's by the side of the body, maybe on the body. And then seeing that once we've made these kind of little setups for our Shavasana, that we can just begin to settle into the body without any pressure, without any expectations of what to experience or feel, but just to simply lie here and rest after your practice. Letting the body feel relaxed and supported, and the breath to feel smooth and natural, effortless. And beginning to just bring your awareness back to your breath and your body. You might choose to stay here for some more minutes, and in which case I really invite you to do so. But if you wish to begin transitioning back, then just starting to bring any little movements into the body that feel natural at this moment, whether it's just moving the fingers, the toes, or maybe rotating a little through the ankles, through the wrists. You might take a nice big stretch overhead like you would first thing in the morning, and just enjoy that sense of space through the body. Or maybe then beginning to hug the knees in, finding the opposite action, rounding through, finding any little movements. And then when you feel ready, and only then, beginning to come over onto the side of the body. You might stay there for a moment, or then beginning to come and find a comfortable seat whenever you feel ready. You might keep the eyes closed here, or just the gaze soft, and when you do feel ready, I invite you to come back to any seat that just feels nice and supportive, comfortable.
And just see if we can keep that sense of relaxing through the shoulders, of relaxing through the hips, that lightness of the spine. And then bringing the hands either to rest over our heart center or to come into prayer, whatever feels most comfortable to you. I just invite you to come back to where we started, to just reflect on that emotion that you would like to nourish, cultivate at this particular time. Just seeing if we can take a breath in together, inviting that in, welcoming that in. And then as we breathe out, thinking about what we would like to let go of, like to release. And breathing out, bringing the hands back to the heart, releasing whatever emotion or quality that really is not helpful at the moment. And just taking a pause, a moment of stillness here. And then from this gesture, from this practice, I invite you to bring the hands into a prayer at heart center if they're not already. And I just say thank you for practicing with me, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you and namaste. And yeah, thank you everyone.